Okay.
Okay, so I sewed across the edge. I tried really hard not to catch any of that placket fabric, what the eyelets are going into, but I have a feeling I did. Won't know until I try turning it over. We'll show you how to fix that because it happens. So I'm going to turn this all inside out. I'll be turning it back again to trim corners after I know it worked out or didn't work out or what have you. So now when I try to pull this out, pull. I can't tell. So, because I've got too much, so I'll explain this. This is good, because then I explain. So I've got all this extra fabric here that's trying to go into that tiny little space. And anytime you're dealing with something bulky in a corner, you have to trim back the bulk. So, let's trim back the bulk. Just make sure I don't trim it too far, because I might have to do some hand sewing. Grading the seam allowances is making the outside one the longest and the inner one shorter. So I'm sort of changing the layers so we're gradually getting longer.
Lays smoother that
Lays
way.
smoothly.
That's good.
I have to do more grading, but well, let's show the grading now. As long as we're here and we have to do it. So we have a lot of layers here. So this is the inside layer. I know that because there's only one layer to it. And then we have this layer. Oops. So and you're just making them like steps. Each one is one step shorter. And I go to the next one, and that's one step longer. I go to the next one. So we have a lot of layers here. Like, holy cow, how many layers can you have?
Lots.
And then there's the top layer. So anyway, so those are our layers. So we have that stepped. So we're going to try again, turn it in right side out. That pointy little end. Come on, pointy little end. It's coming a lot easier this time.
Looks like you did it good.
Well, kinda. See how it's sort of curving at the bottom? It's because I must have pulled one stitch in there. I'm going to take my seam ripper, I'm going to unstitch that last stitch that seemed to catch things funny. Pull it out. I'm going to have to do a little more trimming, and then I'll just hand stitch that so it looks pretty. At least now it's not pulling. I'll have to cut out more of the bulk because it's still too bulky here. And hand stitch that. But now that lays flat. Okay. Now we're going to have to add some boning in there. So we'll stop for a minute while we get that set up.
So I already have some boning measured out. So what we're doing here, this is the seam. And since you sew 5/8 whatever up and over and around, you're going to measure the 5/8 from this edge here. So I marked it with a pin, and then just below the boob. And then I'm going to measure just with this from pin to pin. Oh, first I should do the extra first, yeah. Well, since we have to fold this over so the boning doesn't come out.
Or poke me.
And poke you. See, there's only one side of this, so you can fold it over, and then it'll go against there. I have to measure just a little bit, enough for it to fold over. So, like, this can fold over, and then push a little more, and that can fold over. And we can measure it like this.
So you bring two times the amount you'd fold over,
times.
so you have both ends.
Yep. And should cut it there. Alright.
It's hard to cut boning, FYI.
You do not use your sewing scissors.
No.
Do not use your sewing scissors.
Paper scissors. Okay, so we're going to cut off the pointy edges. And we're just going to do this one side. Show you.
Because it's embarrassing.
Point up. So, and then we're gonna burn it a little bit. Just like half a second, maybe.
You're melting the plastic a little bit.
So it gets a little shinier. And then you're just gonna use your finger. It doesn't get that hot. And then it'll just smooth it out. You can see it all. It's not pointy anymore
Yes.
anywhere. Then you do that with both sides.
Here again, we're working on the little wings that'll have the eyelets in them. And I've got everything trimmed with an inch of its life. And I also used something called fray check on the corners so it wouldn't unravel.
Good idea.
Just going to get some tugging. And then I'm going to sew in the boning.
Oh.
Exciting, exciting. Now for this boning, because this isn't going to be inside against her skin, I actually cut the fabric a little short instead of a little long, so it'll fit into those already bulky corners.
All right.
And so then you lay the boning, and normally you'd be pinning because you'd be wanting to center it, but in this case it's going to be sort of off to the side. And so I'm just going to lay it down like this. You need to put on a zipper foot so you can have your stitching just on one side.
There you go.
Come on, line up there. Thank
I
you.
need to find like a tripod for this or something. I don't have to hold it.
So get my needle in there.
It's hard to hold. Still, especially.
And then I'm just sewing on one side. I'm not sewing through the plastic at all. I'm just sewing through the fabric that goes around the plastic.
Which is probably difficult.
Well, depends on how much sewing you've done. The zipper foot makes it relatively easy.
Okay.
Because you can see the zipper foot just sort of guides it along. It's starting to get late. We're going to be stopping for the day pretty soon here. The other reason, there we go. The other reason on these pieces I cut the fabric bit shorter than the thing is it can still slide up and down within the case. And so after we turn it in, you can adjust it to fit inside. So hopefully we'll turn this inside out.
Okay.
And everything will lie flat nicely. We can get this on. It's got a lot of stuff in that corner.
A
now.
lot of stuff. Yeah.
And I cut out a lot of the extra fabric and stuff, but we still have boning that we
Kinda
need to
crazy.
wiggle in there.
Yeah, kind of
Actually,
crazy.
going to take advantage of this. I'm going to pull the boning back a little bit so we can pull this through. Come on. You take pointy scissors closed so we don't go through our fabric. I'm going to go through on the lining side on the inside, so if I do poke through, it won't show on the outside. And use that to sort of push this along to get it out. Come on. But there, it looks pretty good. Good enough for if anyone's looking that closely, they need to move away from the dress.
Exactly.
Move away from the bride. You're crowding.
Yes.
So now I'll push that back in. This end is much easier to flip up. And now we have boning along the edge.
So
It's starting to be,
exciting.
it's trying to be curly again, so we'll just take the iron to that to smooth it back out. And there we go. Now you have boning along the edge. When you're pulling on the cords, you can see it's got the boning right next to it, so it's not going all wiggly.
That's exciting.
And there we go. Woohoo!
Yay!
So now I'm going to sew this panel. We can iron it after. We can sew this panel onto the back here. Ooh, exciting! So I took
We all scream.
I took and measured. Here we've got our 5/8 on this side and 5/8 on this side. And so I have that lined up, and then squish this down and pin.
Here, money.
Many.
Why don't you put the rest of the boning or whatever up on the shelf?
And then
Gonna
regular presser foot.
try to catch Rosalie being a pyro.
And what's in that bag?
Cutting implements.
So we're sewing. We're still going to do it 4/8 because this has to be sewn onto the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
dress,
Yeah.
and we don't want to have any threads outside of our 5/8 line.
No, I don't know.
Oops. Let's start taking pins out since we already broke one needle and we know this is our last needle of the right width. And there we have it.
There she is.
There she is.
The back.
The
bodice.
half of the back, and then
Half of the
this
back
can
of the
be
bodice.
sewn onto the rest of the bodice, and then. But there, it looks like all like really finished and everything.
It is. Wow. Amazing.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. So of course we got to put the little eyelety things in here.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't figured out exactly how many of those we're gonna have. That's why they're
Or
not in yet.
what? Or yeah.
Or color
or
or all
anything.
that.
That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. Something will happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
What a terrific Saturday.
Yay.
All right, we
Yay.
got lots done. Yes, we did. There's all sorts of boning and stuff. This is the rest of the bodice, and
Yep.
it's
So
very
here-
beautiful. Oh, there
this
it is.
will go.
Oh, yes, that's the real deal, baby.
Where am I? Oh, that's upside down. So I'm like, this isn't working because I'm upside down.
Upside down.
There we go. And then this goes, whoops, like that.
Ah! Look at that!
So
It
pretty.
looks like a corset. Beautiful.
So
Ah.
shimmery. Who needs diamonds when you got a sparkly dress?
Sparkly dress.